Hello, it's Davey Mooney, coming to you from the University of North Texas, where I run the jazz guitar program. I'm a Benedetto artist. Sunnyside Records. Got a few records here. 6 to be exact, including The Word, my new one. Hoping to get to Japan in the fall. This is a collaboration with my buddy Ko Omura, great drummer, tabla player, and composer from Tokyo environs. Got my Mel Bay books. Then the new one, I swear it's going to come out this year sometime, y'all. I don't know exactly when. But let's see, it's late March here at UNT. We finished spring break. We're back in the saddle with everybody, trying to get through this semester. It's definitely that point where everybody's a bit exhausted, including yours truly. But I don't want to talk to y'all about that. It's such a nice day. I'd rather talk about the tune Willow Weep for me. So this is a song from, I think, 1932. Ann Ronell, or Ronell, I don't actually know how to pronounce her name, but she wrote this. She also wrote Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf, which is fun. Also, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, little takeoff on that. So she has a big part in popular culture. And this tune actually came to me probably before any of the other ones I've talked about in these videos, because my grandfather, Gerald Cole, used to play this on the piano when he would come over to our house. He had a few songs he would play. I guess pop songs from his youth. Was he born in 17? So this must have come out when he was a teenager. And it's interesting because he sort of played it in a somewhat of a stride piano style. And I was listening to early versions of it, like the Paul Whiteman with Irene, what's her name? I was just listening to, I think, Irene Taylor, the vocalist. And they really change grooves, so to speak, on the tune, like for the second half of the A section. It's really interesting. But some other versions that I've enjoyed over the years include, there's the George Benson version it's Uptown, I think, right? I was just listening to it. I should go through and double check these things. Sometimes I go just off the dome, you guys. I'm going to look it up for you right now. Benson. It's on. Yes, it's Uptown. Got it right. That's an amazing version, man. He just tears that song apart, especially just on the melody. They keep the real sort of kind of 12/8-ish feel, and he just wails on it. I also love Pat Martino on We'll Be Together Again with Gil Goldstein, one of my favorite jazz guitar records. And it's a million people recorded this song. I really also love Sinatra on Only the Lonely. God, that arrangement is so killer. Nelson Riddle. He kind of takes, it's not as, I want to say it's not as bluesy. He really takes advantage of some more sort of diatonic sounds on the A section than the sort of, I feel like standard treatment of this is to really kind of lean into the bluesiness, even though it's not really a blues. But Benson and Martino are in G. I think I always play it in G. Sinatra's in E. And of course, vocalists do it in different keys. But there's some variations on the chords that I'll talk about. But the basic idea, like a G7 to a C7, although I listened to that Paul Whiteman version, and it's very much like 1 to 5 diminished. They're definitely it's got that kind of vibe. Then they go. They go from that real, what do you call it, sort of not swinging, kind of march vibe into a boom, boom, chaka, boom, chaka, boom, maybe stride. It's definitely a long ways from, I don't know, Jimmy Cobb and Paul Chambers, or even, Count Basie rhythm section. It's not that kind of vibe on the original one. But most people, like I said, will go like 1 to 4, kind of a 1 dominant or a 1/6 to 4, and then a 2/5 to the 4. Then a 2/5, or a flat 6 to 5 to 1. And some variations on that. You might have a G6 to 4. Louis Armstrong also does it with Oscar Peterson, and they're in F. Sometimes you get like a walk up. I think Gilgold's, yeah, and Pat Martino go kind of walk up. Your branches and that runs the sea, and then the 2-5 to the 4. Listen to my plea. Listen, Willow, and weep for me. And then the bridge goes to the let's see, the 4 minor. Whisper to the wind, and back to the 1, but 1 minor. And some people actually just stay on the 4, go to the 1 minor without going up to the 5 of that. So maybe just C minor for a bar, G minor, or C minor, D7, or 2-5 back to G minor, and then G7. And then here, there's some variation. I found the early versions, and I think, I think Sinatra too. They go, of course, he's in the key of E, but C minor, B flat 7, A flat 7, G7, back to C minor. But George Benson goes C minor, F7, B flat minor, E flat 7, A flat minor, D flat 7, then a 2-5, just C minor again, like D minor 7, G7, C minor. And I think Martino, they do some of that. They do C minor, F7, B flat minor, E flat 7. I believe it's like an A flat sus or an A flat 7 instead of A flat minor. So I feel like you can kind of pick, because it doesn't, the melody doesn't really get affected by that, because the melody you have. Because it's like the melody and the 9, so that could easily be that too. Or any combination of those two things. And then the second half. Something like whatever the lyrics are. You will find me crying. Maybe going back into the last A, there's an argument to use an A flat 7 because the melody switches both. There's actually like I believe a C natural in the melody, so it's probably would be a better idea to play an A flat 7 going back. But you know, it's so bluesy, you know. So after that A flat 7, or you could keep it an A flat minor. I believe Benson keeps it an A flat minor, and then you go A minor, D7, G. Or A flat 7, D7, G. A little tritone sub to get you back to G major. Makes me want to do that now, having listened to that Paul Whiteman recording, and also that's what my grandfather used to do. Wow, it's kind of taking me back. I sort of remember him switching into that stride feel. I thought he was just messing around, but I guess that's like he was learning it from the record, like we're supposed to, right? He probably had the sheet music that he figured out, published sheet music back in the day. But something that this tune brings up to me, something that I don't think harmonically it's that difficult, although it's kind of interesting and fun on the bridge if you throw in those minor chords. I was reading on Wikipedia that apparently this song was initially kind of rejected by publishers because they thought it was too complicated with that tempo change and all that, and it does seem a little like I guess complicated or challenging maybe from the perspective of listening to something like the Paul Whiteman band. There's a lot going on with that tempo change and the groove change compared to maybe some of the songs from the time period. I don't know. But what challenges me about this song is like it often comes to me in a sort of 12/8-ish context. And I'm just getting more comfortable now at the age of 44 at just kind of like being able to play in that 12/8 bluesy feel and not feel like I want it to become go to a double time swing feel. I used to kind of get nervous and anxious about just leaving it in that. I used to want it to be so I could go. And the Benson recording, they actually, for the solo, they do go to that feel. But now I just like to lean into the... And I can still... And I tell my students that with ballads as well, it's kind of... important or helpful to be able to be in like a duple subdivision and a triple subdivision kind of at the same time, and to mix and match those feels, you know, right, triplets, and that's 16th notes, right? And then also kind of maybe be in between, or just let it be kind of loosey-goosey. You know, I really appreciate Peter Bernstein's playing for that that skill and that ability. Also like Schofield, you know, and of course like great blues players outside of just specifically the jazz realm. You know, your B.B. King, your kind of shredders like Stevie Ray Vaughan, and can I call him a shredder? You know, just that like leaning into that 12/8, and when it's a slow groovy tempo, just kind of playing some fast stuff that maybe is I don't know, 16th note triplets, or maybe there's 16th notes or somewhere in between there. Then, but always going back to the grounding of, so the tempos. That mixture of the triplet and the duple, whether it's an 8th note or a 16th. And yeah, but then of course, like anything else, if you overthink it, it starts to sound weird. You kind of just have to maybe practice that. We were talking about that in my improv class with the ballad. We were playing the song Daydream, you know, at a real slow, I think 60 beats per minute, so a pretty slow tempo, and just encouraging them to mix up those duples and triples in the way that they're feeling the song. So anyway, I'll play a little bit on Willow Weep for me. Send this one out to Gerald Cole, passed away some years ago, but in honor of him. And all the great versions, George Benson, Frank Sinatra, Pat Martino, everybody else, Louis Armstrong. All right, y'all, enjoy.